Jia checked her capture pod's readings one more time. The human was still inside, probably scared and confused. Good. Fear made them easier to handle at first. Subject secured, she reported into her wrist communicator. Bringing it to the lab now. Jia was the best xenobiologist in the Seal Empire. At only 30 cycles old, she had already tamed 6 different alien species. Humans would be her 7th. Her superiors had great plans for these creatures from the edge of the galaxy. The pod hovered behind her as she walked through the gleaming white halls of the research station. Other scientists stepped aside, nodding with respect as she passed. Everyone knew about her special project. "Is that the human?" asked Minho, her young assistant, running up beside her. His eyes were wide with excitement. "Yes, and don't call it the human. It's the specimen or subject T7. Jia corrected him. "Never humanize test subjects. That's the first rule." "Sorry, Dr. Jia," Minho said, looking down. "It's just, I've never seen a real human before." "Few have. They mostly stay in their own system." Jia stopped at the lab door, pressing her palm to the scanner. "They're primitive but interesting. Their planet is still half wild, but somehow they've managed basic space travel." The door slid open to reveal a large room filled with advanced equipment. In the center stood a clear containment chamber where the pod would release the human. "Prepare the translator implant," Jia ordered, "and check the atmospheric levels. Humans need more oxygen than we do." As Minho hurried to obey, Jia connected the pod to the chamber. With a soft hiss, the pod opened and its contents tumbled into the containment area. The human male lay still for a moment, then slowly pushed himself up. He was taller than Jia expected, with dark hair and tan skin. His flight suit was simple but well made, marked with patches she didn't recognize. "Vital signs normal," Minho reported, checking the screens. "Brain activity high." The human stood up and looked around. His eyes caught Jia's, and she felt a strange jolt. There was no fear in those eyes, only anger and curiosity. He walked to the clear wall separating them and pressed his hand against it. His mouth moved, but they couldn't hear him through the soundproof barrier. "Activate external audio," Jia said. "Take me." "Who are you people?" His voice came through the speakers, deep and steady. Jia stepped forward. "I am Dr. Jia of the Seal Empire. You are now property of our scientific division. Cooperate, and you will be treated well." The human laughed, a short, harsh sound. "I'm not property. My name is Tai, and I'm a scout for the Earth Exploration Corps." "Your name is not important," Jia said, making notes on her tablet. "But for record-keeping, we'll call you Ta." "How generous," Ta said. He began examining his prison, touching the walls, looking for weaknesses. Finding none, he turned back to Jia. "What do you want from me?" "To study you, to understand how humans function, and eventually to improve you." Ta crossed his arms. "Improve me? You think you're better than humans?" "The Seal Empire is the most advanced civilization in this sector. We have tamed many species, made them useful." Jia smiled slightly. "Soon, humans will serve a purpose in our empire too." "You'll find we're not easily tamed," Ta said quietly. Something in his tone made Jia look up from her notes. For a moment, their eyes met again. This time, she noticed their color, a deep brown that seemed to hold secrets. Jia turned away. "Minho, prepare the first tests. Nothing invasive yet. Let's see what our human can do." "Yes, Dr. Jia," Minho said, clearly excited. As they worked, Jia felt Ta's eyes following her. She told herself the strange feeling in her stomach was just scientific excitement. After all, humans were just another species to study and tame. But deep down, she already knew this one would be different. 3 days had passed, and Jia was getting frustrated. The human, Tai, refused to follow even the simplest commands. He sat in his containment chamber now, arms crossed, ignoring the colored blocks she wanted him to sort. The test is very simple, Jia said through the speaker. Even the lowest life forms can do it. Ta looked directly at her. Then why don't you do it? Minho, who was checking the air filters, tried not to laugh. This is not a game, Jia said. Your cooperation will make things easier for both of us. Ta stood up and walked to the clear wall. I am not an animal to be trained. I am a human being with rights. Rights? Jia raised an eyebrow. You have no rights here. You are a specimen, nothing more. Ta smiled, but his eyes remained cold. Then you'll get nothing from me. He turned his back on her and sat down on his sleeping mat. Impossible, Jia muttered. She turned to Minho. Reduce his food ration by half. Let's see how cooperative he feels when he's hungry. Later that night, Jia returned to the lab alone. She couldn't sleep, thinking about the failed tests. Her superiors expected results, and so far, she had nothing to report. To her surprise, Tai was awake too. He sat cross-legged on the floor, eyes closed. What are you doing? She asked through the speaker. Meditating, he replied without opening his eyes. It helps pass the time. Jia sat down at her desk, watching him. You could make this easier, you know. The tests aren't harmful. Tai opened his eyes. Why should I help you? You want to tame my species. We want to understand you, Jia said. So you can use us, Tai replied. I know how empires work. We have history books. Jia was surprised. You study history. I thought humans only cared about fighting and basic survival. Ta laughed. Is that what they teach you about us? Interesting. He stood up and stretched. We have art, music, philosophy, science. We explore space not just to conquer but to learn. If you're so advanced, why haven't you spread further into the galaxy? Jia asked, genuinely curious now. Maybe we don't need to own everything we see, Ta said simply. This idea was strange to Jia. The Seal Empire had always expanded, always conquered. It was the natural way of things. The next morning, Jia tried a new approach. Instead of tests, she brought images of Seal art and culture. Ta seemed interested, asking questions about the pictures. This is a religious ceremony, he asked, pointing to an image of the Starlight Festival. Yes, we thank the stars for guiding our ancestors to new worlds, Jia explained. We have similar celebrations, Ta said. He picked up a blank data pad Jia had given him and began to draw. When he finished, he showed her a rough but recognizable picture of humans gathered around a large fire under stars. The winter solstice, he explained, when we celebrate the return of longer days. Jia took the drawing, surprised by this connection between their cultures. She started to say something when the lab door opened. Minho rushed in, looking worried. Dr. Jia, Commander Dai is asking for progress reports, he said breathlessly. He wants to know when the human will be ready for physical testing. Jia glanced at Ta, who had gone very still. Tell him we're making progress. The specimen is learning obedience. After Minho left, Ta looked at her with new understanding in his eyes. So you have masters too. Jia didn't answer, but for the first time, she felt uncomfortable with her role. She gathered her things quickly and headed for the door. I'll help with your basic tests, Ta called after her. But not because I'm being tamed, because I want to learn about you too. Jia paused at the door, not looking back. Tomorrow then, she said, and left. What is that noise? Jia asked, looking up from her datapad. A strange buzzing sound was coming from her main research console. It started about an hour ago, Minho explained. The system says everything is fine, but the noise keeps getting louder. Jia walked over to examine the console. Inside the containment chamber, Tai watched with interest. For the past 2 weeks, he had been cooperating with basic tests, showing intelligence far beyond what Jia had expected from a human. But he still kept his distance, answering questions with as few words as possible. This isn't good, Jia muttered. The molecular scanner is overheating. If it breaks, We'll lose weeks of research. Should I call the repair team? Minho asked. They're working on the ship bay today. It would take hours for them to get here. Jia hit a few buttons, but the buzzing only grew louder. We need to fix it now or risk losing everything. From inside his chamber, Ta stood up and walked to the wall. I can help, he said through the speaker. Jia turned to him with suspicion. You? What do you know about our technology? I'm a scout. I'm trained to repair equipment, Ta said simply. That sound is a power regulation problem. I've heard it before. Or you just want an excuse to get out of your cage, Jia countered. Ta shrugged. Your choice. But your machine is about to fail. As if to prove his point, the console sparked. Minho jumped back with a yelp. Jia hesitated, then made a decision. If you try anything. I know, you'll hurt me, Ta said. I just want to help. Jia pressed her hand to the security panel. The door to the containment chamber slid open. 2 guards immediately stepped forward, weapons ready. Stand down, she ordered them. But stay alert. Ta walked slowly to the sparking console, aware of all eyes on him. He knelt down and removed the side panel. Your tools, he said, holding out his hand. Jia passed him her repair kit, watching his every move. Tai worked quickly, his hands sure and steady. After a few minutes, he disconnected a small silver component. This is your problem, he said, showing it to Jia. The power regulator is cracked. It's sending too much energy to the scanner. Can you fix it? Jia asked. Ta nodded. I need a replacement part and some wire. Minho found what he needed, and Ta continued working. 20 minutes later, the buzzing stopped. Ta reassembled the panel and stepped back. Try it now. Jia ran a diagnostic test. The console functioned perfectly, better than before actually. How did you learn to do that? She asked, genuinely impressed. On Earth, we have to be resourceful, Tai explained. Every scout learns basic engineering, medicine, languages, and survival skills. Jia studied him with new eyes. This was no primitive being. This was someone with knowledge and skills that rivaled her own people's. Thank you, she said finally. It felt strange to thank a test subject. Ta nodded, but didn't move back toward the containment chamber. Instead, he pointed to the star charts on Jia's screen. Your navigation system is fascinating, he said. It's similar to ours, but you use stellar radiation patterns we haven't mapped yet. Before she could stop herself, Jia began explaining how SEAL ships navigated the stars. Tai asked intelligent questions, suggesting improvements that made surprising sense. For an hour, they talked as equals, scientist to scientist, explorer to explorer. Jia forgot about taking notes or running tests. She found herself enjoying the exchange of ideas. Finally, Minho cleared his throat. Dr. Jia, it's time for the daily report. Reality crashed back. Ta was still her test subject. This wasn't a friendly academic discussion. You should return to your chamber now, she said, her voice formal again. Ta walked back without argument. At the doorway, he paused. We could learn a lot from each other, Jia, he said quietly, if you'd let us. It was the first time he had used her name without her title. Somehow, it changed everything. What is this? Jia asked, looking at the strange shapes Tai had drawn on his datapad. Letters from my language, Tai explained. This is how we write on Earth. A month had passed since Tai fixed the console. During that time, the rules between them had slowly changed. Ta now had more freedom to move around the lab when no other scientists were present. Jia had even removed the tracking band from his ankle yesterday. Show me how to write my name, she said, sitting beside him at the small table in the lab's break area. Tai wrote some symbols. This is Jia in my language. Jia tried to copy the letters. Her first attempt looked messy. Not bad, Ta said with a smile. Try again. As she practiced, Minho entered the lab. He stopped, surprised to see them sitting so close together. Dr. Jia, I have the new test schedules, he said, watching Ta carefully. Leave them on my desk, Jia replied without looking up. After Minho left, Tai asked, does it bother him that you treat me differently now? Jia put down the pen. It bothers many people. They think I'm too soft with you. Are you? Tai asked, his brown eyes studying her face. Maybe, she admitted, but the old methods weren't working. This way, I learn more. Ta nodded, but he seemed to understand there was more to it than that. Later that afternoon, Jia brought a small box to the lab. Inside were some dried plants and a stone cup. Today I want to show you something from my culture, she said. This is a seal tea ceremony. We perform it to show respect to guests. Ta watched as she carefully prepared the tea, heating water, and measuring the dried leaves. Her movements were precise and graceful. Each step has meaning, she explained. The way we pour, the way we offer the cup. It all shows how we value the person we serve. When the tea was ready, she handed the cup to Ta with both hands, bowing her head slightly. In return for teaching me your language, she said. Tai took the cup the same way, copying her formal movements. He sipped the tea and smiled. It's good. Reminds me of something we call mint on Earth. What ceremonies do humans have? Jia asked, pouring herself some tea. Tai thought for a moment. We have many. Some for religion, some for celebrations. He paused. When I was young, my family had a dinner ceremony every week. We would all cook together, then sit and share stories. You miss your family? Jia asked quietly. Yes, Ta said simply. Don't you miss yours? Jia looked surprised. I haven't seen my family unit in many cycles. SEAL scientists usually live at their research stations. That sounds lonely, Ta said. Before Jia could answer, the lab door slid open. Commander Dai walked in, tall and imposing in his military uniform. Jia immediately stood at attention. Commander, we weren't expecting you, she said, her voice suddenly formal. Commander Day ignored her, his cold eyes fixed on Ta. So this is the human specimen. I expected it to be restrained. It has been cooperative, Jia explained quickly. Physical restraints weren't necessary. And drinking tea together. Is that part of your research methods, Dr. Jia? The commander's voice was sharp. I was studying human cultural responses, Jia said. They seem to respond better to social interaction than to isolation. Tai remained silent, his face carefully blank. But Jia noticed how he straightened his back, making himself appear stronger. Commander Dai walked around Tai, examining him like a piece of equipment. The military division is very interested in your specimen, Doctor. We'll be taking a more active role in this research from now on. Sir, Jia felt a strange fear growing inside her. The Empire has plans for humans, Commander Day said. Big plans. Your tea parties are over. He turned to leave, then stopped at the door. Full report in my office. 1 hour. After he left, the lab felt colder somehow. What does he want? Tai asked quietly. Jia couldn't meet his eyes. Nothing good, she whispered. Jia stood stiffly in Commander Day's office. The large window behind his desk showed the stars and the curve of the planet below. Your reports have been incomplete, Commander Day said, scrolling through her data on his screen. You mentioned the human's intelligence but little about physical capabilities. My focus was on cognitive abilities, Jia explained. The physical tests were scheduled for next month. Too slow. Commander Day stood up. He was tall, even for a SEAL, with hard eyes that never seemed to blink. The Empire needs results now. What exactly does the Empire need humans for? Jia asked carefully. Commander Dai smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Let me show you. He pressed a button, and a hologram appeared over his desk. It showed a battlefield. Small figures in armor fought against large insect-like creatures. The Krell have pushed back our forces in 3 systems, Commander Day explained. Their outer shell is resistant to our weapons. We need soldiers who can fight in close combat. Humans, Jia whispered, understanding now. Exactly. They're strong for their size and adapt quickly to new environments. Commander Dad pointed to the hologram. Our scientists believe that with proper conditioning, humans could become excellent frontline soldiers. Cannon fodder, Jia said before she could stop herself. Commander Dad's eyes narrowed. Expendable assets would be the correct term. Your specimen will be the first test subject. Jia felt cold inside. Tai is not ready for combat training. He needs more time to. Ta. Commander Day cut her off. You named it. It's what it calls itself, Jia said quickly. You've become attached to this creature. It wasn't a question. Commander Dai walked around his desk to stand directly in front of her. Remember your place, Doctor. You serve the Empire, not some primitive alien. Of course, Commander, Jia said, looking down. Starting tomorrow, the human will begin physical training. My officers will handle it. Commander Day returned to his desk. You will continue your research, but under military supervision. Yes, sir, Jia said. There was nothing else she could say. When she returned to the lab, Tai was waiting. One look at her face told him the news wasn't good. What happened? He asked. Jia explained about the Empire's plans to use humans as soldiers against the Krell. As she spoke, Tai's expression grew darker. They want to turn my people into weapons, he said when she finished. I'm sorry, Jia said. I didn't know this was their plan. Ta stood up and paced the room. How many humans do they have? Just you for now. But they've sent ships to capture more. Jia watched him move. For the first time, she noticed the careful way he walked, the controlled strength in his movements. You already knew how to fight, didn't you? Tai stopped pacing. All scouts receive basic combat training. You've been hiding your abilities, Jia realized, showing just enough to seem cooperative, but not enough to be useful as a weapon. Wouldn't you do the same? Tai asked. Before Jia could answer, the lab door opened. Minho entered with 2 military officers. Dr. Jia, these officers will be stationed in the lab from now on, Minho said nervously. Commander's orders. The officers took positions near the door, their faces blank, weapons visible at their sides. The human will be moved to the training facility tomorrow morning, one officer announced. Prepare it for transport. After they explained the new procedures, everyone left except for Jia and Ta. The lab felt different now, like a prison rather than a place of learning. Jia, Ta said quietly, coming close to her. You know this is wrong. She didn't answer, but she couldn't look away from his eyes. Help me, he whispered, before they use me to hurt my people. It was the first time he had asked for her help. John knew she should report this as resistance behavior. Instead, she whispered back, I will. We have 6 hours before the morning shift, Jia whispered. The lab was dark except for the glow of emergency lights. The cameras were looped to show empty rooms, a trick Ta had taught her. 3 days had passed since Commander Day revealed the Empire's plans. 3 days of pretending to comply while secretly planning their escape. The guard rotation changes at midnight, Ta said. He was studying the station map Jia had pulled up on her data pad. There's a 10-minute gap when the dock area is least watched. We'll need access codes for the small research vessel, Jia said. I can get those from the system, but it will leave a trace. Ta nodded. Do it as late as possible. Once they notice, we'll have minutes, not hours. Jia looked at him, this human who had changed everything for her. You could escape alone, she said. You'd have a better chance. No, Ta said firmly. They would kill you for helping me. We go together, or not at all. Jia felt something warm in her chest. She had never had anyone risk their safety for her before. In the Seal Empire, people only looked out for themselves. I've been thinking, she said, changing the subject, about what you said regarding human technology. Is it true your people have faster than light communication? Ta hesitated, then nodded. Yes, We developed it 10 years ago. The Empire doesn't have that yet, Jia said. They're still using quantum relay stations. She paused. Why didn't your people expand more with such advanced technology? We believe in careful exploration, Tamed explained, learning before claiming, growing slowly. He smiled slightly. We're not perfect, but we try to learn from our mistakes. The lab door slid open suddenly. Jia quickly switched off the map, but it was too late. Minho stood in the doorway, his eyes wide. Dr. Jia, what are you doing? He asked, looking from her to Ta. Jia's mind raced. Research notes, Minho. The human has been sharing information about Earth defense systems. Minho stepped closer, still suspicious. At this hour, with the cameras off. Commander Day requested this information directly. Jia lied. It's classified. Minho looked at the blank screen. Then why did you close everything when I entered? Before Jia could answer, Ta moved. He was suddenly behind Minho, one arm around the young assistant's neck, in a hold that wasn't tight enough to harm him, but made it clear he could. Don't hurt him, Jia said quickly. I won't, Ta promised. But we need to decide what to do with him. Minho's eyes were wide with fear. You're helping it escape, he whispered to Jia. This is treason. The Empire wants to use humans as disposable soldiers, Jia said. They'll die by the thousands fighting the Krell. Is that right to you? They're just aliens, Minho said, but he sounded uncertain. Look at him, Jia insisted. Really look. Is Ta so different from us? Does he deserve to die for an empire that sees him as a tool? Minho looked at Ta, who slowly released his hold but stayed ready to grab him again if needed. The commander will know you helped, Minho said to Jia after a long moment. You'll never be able to return. I know, Jia said quietly. Minho seemed to struggle with himself. Finally, he said, the research vessel in Bay 4 has a full fuel cell. The others don't. Jia stared at him in surprise. Are you helping us? I'm telling you a fact, Minho said carefully. What you do with it is your choice. He turned to leave, then stopped at the door. I'll be in the main lab for the next hour. After that, I'll have to report what I saw. After Minho left, Jia looked at Ta. Can we trust him? We have to, Ta said. Let's move our timeline up. We need to leave now. Bay 4 is just ahead, Jia whispered. She and Ta moved quietly through the dim service corridor. So far, they had avoided the guards by using maintenance paths Jia had access to as head researcher. Wait, Ta put his arm out, stopping her. Listen. Jia heard it then. The sound of boots on metal floor. Many boots. They know, she said, her heart racing. Someone told them. Minho, Ta said grimly. I had a feeling he might change his mind. They backed away from the sound, turning down another corridor. This one led to a smaller emergency dock used for evacuation. The ships there won't have enough fuel to get us far, Jia warned. We just need enough to reach the outer system, Ta said. I have a plan. They reached the end of the corridor, where it opened into a wide loading area. The small evacuation ships waited in their docks. Freedom was just across the open space. But as they stepped out of the corridor, bright lights suddenly blazed on. Commander Day stood there with a dozen armed guards. Minho was beside him, looking down at the floor. Dr. Jia, Commander Day said coldly. I'm disappointed. The guards raised their weapons. Jia felt frozen with fear. You betrayed us, she said to Minho. I had no choice, Minho replied quietly. The commander was already suspicious. Enough talk, Commander Day said. Arrest them both. The human goes to the military wing. Dr. Jia goes to detention to await trial for treason. 2 guards moved forward to grab them. Jia prepared herself for the rough handling. But then something unexpected happened. Ta stepped forward, his posture suddenly different. Gone was the careful, controlled movement he had always shown. Now he moved with deadly grace and speed. The first guard didn't even have time to raise his weapon before Tai disarmed him with a precise strike. The second guard fired, but Tai was already moving. He dodged the shot, rolled across the floor, and came up with the first guard's weapon in his hand. "Nobody move," he ordered, his voice now carrying a tone of command Jia had never heard before. The room went still. Even Commander Dai looked shocked. "You've been hiding your true abilities," the commander said, recovering quickly. "Interesting. There's a lot you don't know about humans," Tai replied. He glanced at Jia. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you everything." "Who are you really?" she asked, feeling confused and betrayed. "I am a scout, like I said. But not just any scout." Todd kept his eyes on the guards while speaking. "I'm part of Earth's Special Reconnaissance Division. We evaluate potential threats to human space." Commander Day laughed. "One special scout against 12 armed guards. The odds don't favor you, human." "Maybe," Tai agreed. "But I don't think you want to report to your superiors that you lost a valuable specimen to you." This made the commander pause. Ta continued, "Let Jia go. Your fight is with humans, not your own people." "She committed treason," Commander Day snapped. "She chose an alien over her empire." "Because the empire is wrong," Jia said, finding her courage. "Humans aren't primitive. They're advanced, maybe more than us. This war you want to start. You don't understand what you're doing." Ta gave her a quick, grateful look. Then he turned back to Commander Da. "Let me show you something," he said, slowly reaching into his pocket. The guards tensed, but Commander Day raised his hand, curious. Ta pulled out a small round device Jia had never seen before. "This is a communication device," Tai explained. "Right now there are 3 human ships just outside your detection range, waiting for my signal." "Impossible," Commander Dai scoffed. "Our sensors would have detected them." "Your sensors can't detect ships using our cloaking technology," Ta said. "The same technology I've been using to block your DEET scans of me." Jia stared at Ta in shock. The human she thought she knew was someone else entirely. But looking into his eyes, she still saw the same person she had come to care for. "You lied to me," she whispered. "Not about everything," Tay replied softly. The detention cell was small and cold. Jia sat on the hard bench, her back against the wall. Across from her, Tai sat in silence. They had been there for hours since Commander Day ordered them locked up while he contacted his superiors. "Why didn't you tell me the truth?" Jia finally asked. Tai looked up. "At first, because you were the enemy. Later," he paused, "I was afraid you would stop trusting me. Like I should trust you now," Jia said bitterly. "I never lied about wanting to escape, or about needing your help." Ta moved to sit beside her. "And I never lied about caring what happens to you." Jia turned away. "Your people are out there, watching us. Were you using me to get information all along?" "My mission was to learn about the Seal Empire's intentions," Tai admitted. "We detected your ships entering human space 3 months ago. I volunteered to be captured to find out why. So it was a trick. You let me think I was taming you." Ta shook his head. "Not everything was part of the mission. The talks we had, the things we shared, that was real." Jia wanted to believe him, but how could she? "What happens now?" she asked instead. "Will your people attack?" "No, humans don't want war." Ta's voice was firm. "We only fight when we have no choice, but we will defend ourselves if the Seal send ships to capture more humans." "The Empire won't stop," Jia said. "Commander Dad will tell his superiors about your technology, and they'll want it even more. Unless we convince them it's not worth the cost," Ta suggested. The cell door slid open. Commander Dai entered, looking angry but controlled. "Your lies won't work, human," he said to Ta. "Our long-range scans show no ships in this system. Your scans can't detect our technology," Tay replied calmly. "But if you want proof," He held up his small communication device again. "Let me contact my team. They'll send you a signal you can detect." Commander Da hesitated, then nodded sharply. "Do it, but no tricks." Ta pressed the device. It glowed softly. "Team Alpha, send confirmation signal now." For a moment, nothing happened. Then alarms began to sound throughout the station. A guard rushed to the door. "Commander, 3 unknown ships just appeared on our scans. They're inside our defense perimeter." Commander Day's face paled. "Impossible. They've been there all along," Tai explained. "Now you have a choice. Start a war with humans, or talk peace." "The Empire doesn't negotiate with lesser species," Commander Day snapped. "We're not lesser," Ta said, standing up. "And this isn't about Empire pride anymore. It's about survival." Commander Day's hand moved to his weapon. For a tense moment, Jia thought he might shoot Ta right there. Instead, he turned to her. "And you, traitor, you choose him over your own people." The question hung in the air. Jia looked at Ta, then back at Commander Da. She thought about everything she had learned about humans, about the Empire's plans, about herself. "I choose what's right," she said quietly. "The Empire is wrong to use other beings as weapons. Humans deserve to be free, just like we do." "Then you are no longer SEAL," Commander Day said coldly. "I'm still SEAL," Jia argued, "but I want my people to be better than this." Commander Day's communicator beeped. "Sir, the unknown ships are hailing us. They want to speak with you and the human prisoner." The commander's jaw tightened. He looked at Ta with hatred, but also with new respect. "This isn't over," he said. Then he turned and left the cell. When they were alone again, Tai took Jia's hand. His touch was warm and gentle. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you everything," he said, "but I'm not sorry for anything else." Jia looked at their joined hands, one human, one SEAL. "What happens to me now?" she asked. "I can't go back to my old life." "Come with me," Ta said simply. "To Earth." Jia's eyes widened. "Your people would accept me. After everything my kind tried to do, they would accept you," Ta said. Then, more softly, "I would make sure of it." "We need to move now," Ta said, pulling Jia toward the dock. "The peace talks won't last forever." 3 hours had passed since the human ships revealed themselves. In that time, Commander Da had been forced to speak with the human captain via video link. The meeting had not gone well. The humans refused to share their technology, but warned that any attacks on human space would be met with force. "Commander Da will never let us leave," Jia said as they hurried through the corridor. Minho had secretly unlocked their cell during the confusion, giving them one last chance to escape. "He doesn't have a choice," Tay replied. "My captain is demanding my return as part of the agreement." They reached the small dock where a SEAL shuttle waited. 2 human guards stood by the entrance, sent from their ships to escort Ta home. "Agent Jun," one of the guards greeted Ta with a nod. "The shuttle is ready." Jia stared at Ta. "Agent Jun." "My real name," Tai admitted. "Ta Jun. You never told me your full name." "There's a lot we still don't know about each other," Ta said softly. He turned to the guards. "This is Dr. Jia. She's coming with us." The guards looked uncertain. "Captain only authorized your extraction." "Sir." "She saved my life," Tai insisted. "And she can't stay here. The SEAL will execute her for treason." The guards exchanged looks, then nodded. "Your responsibility, sir." As they boarded the shuttle, alarms began to sound throughout the station. "They've discovered we're gone," Jia said nervously. Tai took the pilot's seat and started the launch sequence. "We'll be out of range before they can stop us." The shuttle broke away from the station, speeding toward the waiting human ships. Through the window, Jia could see the massive vessels. They were unlike any SEAL design, sleeker, with soft blue lights glowing along their hulls. "They're beautiful," she whispered. "Wait until you see Earth," Ta said with a smile. The shuttle's communication system crackled. Commander Day's angry face appeared on the screen. "This is your final warning," he said. "Return to the station immediately, or we will open fire. You would risk war with humans." Ta challenged. Commander Day's eyes narrowed. "For a traitor? Perhaps." His gaze shifted to Ja. "You are making a mistake, Doctor. These humans will never accept you. You will always be an enemy to them." Jia felt a moment of doubt. Was she making the right choice? Then Tay reached over and took her hand. The simple gesture gave her courage. "You're wrong, Commander," she said. "I've seen how humans treat those different from themselves, with curiosity and respect, not fear and control." "Then you are lost to us," Commander Day said coldly. The screen went dark. Moments later, the shuttle docked with the largest human ship. As the airlock opened, Jia hesitated. "What will happen now?" she asked. "First, debriefing," Ta said honestly. "My superiors will want to know everything about the seal. After that," he paused, "it's up to you. You could work with our scientists, share your knowledge, or start something completely new." "And us?" Jia asked quietly. "Was that just part of your mission too?" Tay turned to face her fully. "My mission ended the moment we left the station. This," he gestured between them, "is real, if you want it to be." Jia thought about everything that had happened. How she had started by thinking she could tame a human, only to discover that humans were not what she thought. How Ta had shown her a different way of seeing the universe. How she had changed. "I'd like to find out," she said finally. Ta smiled, a real smile that reached his eyes. "Then let's go home." As they walked through the airlock onto the human ship, Ja looked back one last time at the seal station growing smaller in the distance. She was leaving everything she had known. Yet somehow, it felt not like an ending, but a beginning. She had set out to tame a human, to bend him to the Empire's will. Instead, he had freed her heart from the cage she never knew it was in. And now, they would explore the stars together.